Alright guys, what is up? Welcome on back to the channel and welcome to just another mock draft. I probably won't do another one for a little bit, but yeah, I haven't done one in a while, but so I just kind of wanted to take a look at the risers in the fall, the people who fell since the aftermath, kind of, so to speak, of the pro days and the combine and all that. So again, if you've never been here, welcome. If you have, welcome back. I do my mock drafts based on what I would do if I was in the GM seat for each one of these teams. So this will be a first round. I'll probably do maybe I'll do a multiple round one later, but this will just be first round, just kind of me. Like I said, what I would do is if I was in the GM seats, but some of these picks are going to be based on the information that I'm given on this page, because I don't know what every single team in the NFL needs. But let's do a different thing here this time. Pro football. Let's do Pro Football Focus. Let's do that. But yeah, we'll do fast. Round one, we'll do all. So I'm going to pick first round every team. No real trades or anything unless they're offered to me. Just kind of what I would do if I was in the GM seat. So anyway, let's hit the draft. All right, first pick, easy peasy. I think it's Fernando Mendoza. He may or may not. Now they're talking about he may or may not be picked. I think that's just bullshit. He's absolutely going to be picked. And because there's no other quarterback and they need one, and he's going to be good right off the bat, I think. He's going to be coming to the NFL and be good. So, anyway, Fernando Mendoza, number one to the Raiders if I'm the Raiders. All right, Jets. The more I look at it, the more I actually like Ruben Bain as a football player better. But David Bailey has all the measurables and everything like that, and he was productive. So, if I'm the Jets, I'm grabbing Bailey. But I do think that Ruben Bain is probably defensively a top 2 or 3 player in the draft. The guy underneath him is probably the first one. But Ruben Bain is spectacular, but he's got issues with his arm length and all that. So if I was a GM and I was really trying to build this team, David Bailey is the best pure edge rusher in this draft that I know of. So that's where I would go if I'm the Jets. The Cardinals, I'm grabbing Ruben Bain. They just need good football players in that locker room, to be honest. He's kind of and he's the next best edge rusher, I guess. To me, he's the number one best edge rusher, but he's the next best guy there at that position. And he's also, I think he's kind of a culture guy, as far as a culture change and all that. So I truly believe it's a plug and play. I believe they have a new coach. So I do believe Ruben Bain is a plug and play. Don't be blown away if he's the second pick. I think he's that good. But his arms are short, and people with his arm length have never gotten 10 sacks in a season ever, so I think that's going to really make him drop a little bit. But if I'm the Cardinals, that's where I'm going. Tennessee, I'm grabbing Alvarez. They need an edge rusher and a linebacker. I think he's a linebacker who can rush the passer. I think he's a stand-up linebacker like a Sam, but you could use him blitzing. He's a chess piece. So he's kind of like, to me, he's like this year's Jalen Walker, where you can kind of put him anywhere. I know Walker wasn't overly productive last year, but that's kind of what their games are. They're great athletes that aren't special at anything specific. They're just good at everything. They're not like David Bailey's a premier for the draft. He's a premier edge rusher. Reese is not a premier edge rusher yet. I think he can be maybe, but who knows? He could end up being a really good linebacker. But either way, they're getting a great football player here. So far, what defenders? Dominating kind of the top 3. The Giants, wide receiver, linebacker, guard, corner. They need a linebacker. I'm just going to go Sonny Styles. I love his upside. He was my original kind of favorite player out of the draft. He's dropped for me a little bit. Now he's kind of coming back up again. The more I watch him, he just kind of looks like a very unpolished, I wouldn't say lost linebacker, but when I watch him, he looks like someone who hasn't played linebacker very long. He's not like a natural, the guy from Texas Tech. I'm trying to think of his name now. That guy's a natural linebacker. Where is he at? I think it's Rodriguez. Yeah, Jacob Rodriguez to me looks like a natural linebacker. C.J. Allen looks like a natural linebacker. Sonny Styles looks like a guy who they put at linebacker who's still learning. That's what he looks like to me. But his ceiling is so fucking high that as the Giants, you may as well take him. I think that's a spot where he doesn't have to come in and be like the main face of the franchise. He can come in and really complement the team because they are building that team still. So I do think that Sonny Styles can come in and play very, very well. I would highly consider Caleb Downs here as well. Shit, you know, I probably would pick Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs is spectacular. I mean, he's such a good football player. But if they need a linebacker, it's one of their biggest needs. Sonny Styles is the way to go as far as right there, I think. But you couldn't lose going Caleb Downs here, or maybe even Wog or a guard. But anyway, let's move on from that pick. The Browns, tackle, receiver, quarterback, center. They need a guard. I'm just going to grab Mwaga. He could play guard or tackle. I think they're kind of desperate for offensive line. If they're going to move forward with Sanders, they may as well get a lineman. He's very good north to south. That's what he is. He's a north to south guy. He's pretty good footwork. I don't know if he's worth a pick this high, but we'll see. I don't personally see it. I think he's very good. I do think he's a first-round talent, but I don't think he's worth the top 10 pick. But that's just me. But I also don't think this draft is very good. I think it's very athletic, and I don't think there's a lot of guys that really do specific things great. It's just my opinion. But let's move on to the Commanders. Commanders, wide receiver. We're going to running back here, Love. They need a running back here. I think Jeremiah Love would be someone great to pair with Daniels. And they need to get Daniels to stop running so fucking much. He's going to kill himself. And I think, Love can catch out of the backfield. I don't know how he is as a blocker. I'm assuming he's a very good blocker, but we'll see. But I think Jeremiah Love will fit there. I think if you want Jeremiah Love, you're going to have to move up. You're just going to have to move up. You're probably going to have to trade with the Browns, to be honest, if you want Love. Maybe even higher. It wouldn't fucking shock me if Love went at number 2. It wouldn't surprise me. Like that, because I don't think the draft is very good. It's got very few players who are very good at what they do. Very few. And everybody else is a good athlete. That's kind of how I see it, you know. Not to say it's like a completely weak draft, but it ain't a strong draft. Anyway, the Saints, edge, receiver, corner, guard, tight end. I don't know how close the Saints are. I don't know how close the Saints are. I'm not a big fan of that quarterback. I think he's pretty good. I don't know how special he is. I don't know if I'd grab a receiver here because I don't know how well built they are. I think receivers are cherry on the top of your franchise. I think once you've got your franchise built from the inside out and your defense built, then you go start grabbing receivers. That's my opinion. I'm not big into having receivers kind of grow with a team because it's a very difficult position to get good at, and it's hard to gauge how good someone is when their quarterback's not there or their offensive line isn't there. It's very difficult. So if I'm the Saints, I'm grabbing Delane. I'm keeping the Louisiana guy inside of town, and I think you just plug and play him. That's kind of what I see him as. Badass getting on the Madden. But yeah, the Chiefs are up next. Now, I've had the tight end here for a while going here. If the draft would drop like this, it'd be really hard to pass up on Carnell Tate. To give what's-his-face Mahomes a really good receiver. It'd be difficult to do that. Now, there is an edge. Hold on. They run a 34 defense. Corner might be good to get. Grab McCoy. I just truly believe that you need good corners, and they have lost some. And they need to rebuild that defense a little bit. I just think that Mahomes, you can go out and get weapons for him later or free agency. I just don't think that you need to go grab a guy real high. Carnell Tate would be a great fit here. Kenyon Sadiq would be the perfect fit there. But if McCoy was there, and the more I think about it, the more I just think, if they can't score, they ain't going to win. You know what I mean? And McCoy, he's, without the injury, he's my favorite corner in the draft. He's one of the best players in the draft. So, Jermon McCoy going to the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a lot of options here, though. So that's what I would do. All right, right now the Bengals have defensive tackles, safety, linebacker, edge. I'm going Caleb Downs. The Bengals need to fucking pick players who are going to be good off the bat. They have to pick those guys. Shamir Stewart, who knows if he's going to be good or not. I think he's got the short arm thing going. Great athlete. They need help for Joe Burrow. They need to get linemen too, but man, Caleb Downs drops right down to him. And that's a no-brainer to me. That's a no-brainer to me. All right, Miami Dolphins up next. They've got a plethora of needs, plethora of options they can do. I don't love their edge rushers. I just don't. I think the Dolphins are a defense where they don't need a premier edge rusher right now. So I don't know if I grab that. They do need a number one receiver. They need a number one receiver. I don't know if I would go there. They also need a corner. But I think they can get a corner in the second round if one drops to them. They would be very happy. As far as value goes, my pick for the Dolphins has always been kind of this guy here from Penn State, the guard from Penn State. But I'm going to grab Tate here. I know I kind of contradict what I said a while ago about the receivers being the icing on the cake, but they do have a guy who now is kind of a veteran at quarterback. And the Dolphins do have some pieces still in place to compete. They really do. If they can if the Dolphins can draft well and Malik Willis turns out to be something decent, the Dolphins can be a playoff team. They really can. They've got Devon Achane, who they may trade, they may not trade, but even if they don't have Devon Achane, they've got two other really good running backs. They can draft one. The offensive line really came together last year. They're going to get some more offensive linemen. They've gotten some journeyman veterans who do have some experience, and sometimes those kind of teams come together well, but we'll see. But Carnell Tate being 6'2", 200 plus pounds, with all the ability in the world, I just think that's a nice fit. Like, he can grow with a veteran. The big thing I was saying about maybe a guy going too early or the icing on the cake type of deal, I was kind of referring to a team with a young quarterback kind of growing with him. But I do think that Malik Willis needs to have a guy to get the ball to, or a consistent guy to get the ball to. And I just think Carnell Tate with the receivers they've signed in free agency would be a nice fit. I just think that would be kind of one of those exception to my rule type of deal. I think Carnell Tate would come in and be good right off the rip for the Dolphins. But I wouldn't mind that. I also wouldn't mind this guy here, Messidor. Messidor might be the most productive edge rusher out of the draft in the first season besides Bailey. He's a fucking beast. He's just 25 years old. He's 25. But I wouldn't be surprised if Miami went this direction. Wouldn't be surprised if Miami went the safety who I had them getting a little while back. Wouldn't be surprised if they got Malachi Lemon, who I don't want them to grab right now. I think if Tate dropped, I'd grab him ahead of them. But Terrell, I wouldn't mind at all. Cassius Howell, I wouldn't mind. He's got the short arm thing, but he's productive. Freeling, I wouldn't mind. I mean, it's just kind of close your eyes and pick these guys up who are available. The Dolphins need everything. All right. Cowboys. Corner, linebacker, safety, edge. They need an edge. I'd grab Messidor. I'm that high on him. I think Messidor is going to come in and be good right off the bat. I watched him play. Him and Bain were so hard to fucking block. And like I said, Messidor's a little bit older, but at that position, you don't need to be like 21 to be drafted. I think you can have a rookie deal to your 28 or 29, and then sign another contract and still be productive till you're in your early to mid 30s. I really do. So I think Messidor is in a good spot in Dallas. But we'll see how that goes. I don't know what kind of defense they're going to run, but if they put his hand on the ground, they'll be fine. I think if they stand him up, he won't be quite as good. But I think Messidor either way is a very, very good pass rusher. And they have to replace that position anyway. All right, regardless if they go get like Myles Garrett or whatever, they still need to get somebody else. The Rams. Tackle, linebacker, wide receiver. I would grab Freeling here. I think he's the best tackle available. I do think they need to keep protecting Stafford. If they're going to keep Stafford, they just need to keep protecting him. They can get other positions elsewhere. There's not many great tackles in this draft. You may as well get the best one there. All right, the Ravens. I don't know what they're doing. Defensive tackle, guard, center. Wide receiver, corner. Let's grab probably the best player available. Ione. He's one of the best players in the draft. He's a no miss. Just keep Lamar Jackson going and try to put more around him. I do think they need to go grab a running back because I think what's face getting older, but Henry, but we'll see. All right, the Buccaneers, edge, linebacker, defensive tackle, safety, guard. Can he stand up, this guy here? They do run a 43, I believe. Very, very productive. Power deficiency, yeah, I don't know. I don't like drafting projects, especially if teams are kind of right on the cusp. I'm going Thieneman. I just think they need plug and play guys. Put him on the defense, plug and play him. I think he'll be good there. It's a great fit. That's what I would do if I'm them. All right, the Jets, second time around, we have some receivers available. Malachi Lemon, Jordan. I'm grabbing Jordan Tyson if I'm them. Jordan Tyson, without the injuries, probably is the #1 receiver in the draft. I wouldn't hate if the Dolphins grabbed Tyson over Tate, but I think Tyson and Tate are 1 and 2 in the draft. Malachi Lemon's a #3, but those are the top guys from what I can tell. But anyway, the Lions, we got the edge and a fucking receiver. It's fine. The Lions, tackle, guard, edge, defensive tackle, safety. It'd be really funny if they grab Lemon here. Wouldn't it? Amon-Ra St. Brown and Malachi Lemon together would be fucking awesome. I gotta look past that. I'm grabbing Banks. They need to get more physical on the inside of the defense. They really do. They need to control the defensive line a little bit more. And I think Banks has the potential to be really good. He's got a high ceiling, low floor, high ceiling. I don't know how great he'll be right off the rip, but I think he can play in a defense like this where people will be like, "Oh yeah, shit, there's Caleb Banks," but go in there and do his job. Take up gaps and things like that. I think he'll be good with the Giants or the Lions. All right, next up are the Vikings, my second favorite team. All right, safety, center, corner, defensive tackle, running back. Huh. I'm grabbing McNeil Warren. There's 3 Pro Bowl safeties in this draft. Excuse me, in the draft, in my opinion, and that's the 3rd one. And the 2nd one just got picked not too long ago, but McNeil Warren there. And actually, as far as potential goes, McNeil Warren is going to be probably the best out of all 3 if he lives up to his potential. He's got the #1 ceiling. Caleb Downs, he's going to be a veteran right off the rip. He's going to be like, in 3 years, he's going to be almost as good as he is coming in the NFL. That's how advanced I think he is. Thieneman, same kind of deal. Very good athlete. I think his ceiling's pretty high, but I think Warren's ceiling is like fucking through the roof. I think he's got all the tools to be great. So I think that's a nice fit there with Brian Flores' defense. All right, the Carolina Panthers are building something nice over there. I really like what they're doing. And tackle, receiver, safety. They lose out on a safety. Defensive tackle, wide receiver, tight end. Oh god, they have some good players they can go grab. I grab Lemon. I do think they need almost like a slot guy, a guy to complement Leggett and all them. I think Malachi Lemon would be a great fit on this team. And they're kind of in that playoff mold where you can kind of really start considering receivers fairly early, and I think Lemon paired with the plus they just lost DJ Moore, so that's a nice fit. I think that's a good fit. All right, Dallas Cowboys are back again. So what did we get for the Cowboys the first time around? Oh, the edge. We're going to grab Terrell. They need a corner. Avion Terrell is there. Nice fit. Good player. I mean, Dallas Cowboys have now bolstered their defense pretty good, so... No, I don't know if they're going to be starters or role players, but they now have a lot deeper, more athletic fucking defense. Okay, defense is what they need. All right, quarterback, guard, linebacker, wide receiver, safety. Don't know if I'd grab a quarterback here or if it's necessary, to be honest. I think you can actually get the Simpson in the second round. I wouldn't be surprised if Simpson shot up and people kind of panicked and started grabbing him early. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I do like Ty Simpson. I do think they... isn't Rodgers coming back? Rodgers isn't good with young quarterbacks, so let's get Rodgers some help here. Linebacker, wide receiver, safety. Grabbing Cooper Jr. He's one of the best receivers in the draft, and I don't know why he's rated this low. I really don't. All right, the Chargers. Guard, edge, defensive tackle, safety, corner. You can go a lot of different directions here. I'm going to grab Zion Young out of Missouri. I think he's the guy that can put his hand on the ground or stand up. He's going to fit nicely in that defense. He's another one where he's just got a ton of potential, but doesn't have to be the man right off the rip there. He can just kind of come in and learn and grow. And that's a good spot for him. That's a really good spot for him. All right. Eagles. Edge. Tackle. Who's going to grab? Oh, God. I think Howell's going to drop. I wouldn't draft him. I kind of like Parker. Kind of like TJ Parker. The more I see him. Let's grab Sadiq. It's just a fit there. It's a need. He's probably won't drop this low. And it just gives their franchise quarterback another fucking weapon. But they do need to work on other things. They need to work on that defense. All right, the Browns. Mawago was the first pick. All right, the next pick. Let's go Casey Concepcion. They need a receiver. I think he's awesome. He looked uncoverable at times. In college, he was great. So he may not be a true number one, but they now have a good, solid receiver. So we've got an offensive lineman and a receiver for the quarterback. See how that works. I don't know if it will. I don't think it will, but I wish the Browns the best of luck with that one. All right, defensive tackle, edge, safety, center, receiver. I don't know. I don't know who I would go here. Why is he rated so high? Should not be rated that high. I actually like this guy here. He's rated real low here. Let's go McDonald. I like him a lot, actually. Like him a lot. He's a nice plug and play in that defense. The Bears are building something special, I'm going to tell you right now. The Bears are building, they're not just going to be great. Don't be surprised if they're like in the Super Bowl next year. Caleb Williams has been everything everyone thought he was going to be. I wasn't sure about him, that's why I was kind of on the fence with him, but Caleb Williams is fucking spectacular. I think he's like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. I think that there's no fucking stopping the Bears next year. There's none. Good luck going into Chicago and fucking playing that team next year. That is my surprise team. They're not real surprised, but that is that's like my Super Bowl team from the NFC. Like it's gonna be like the Bears and who fucking knows, the Chiefs sneak back in or something. But the Bears, I think, are going to the Super Bowl next year. I think the Bears are that good. Like if I'm a Bears fan, I'm fucking excited. I'm painting my fingernails and everything. All right, the Buffalo Bills. They're going to grab Falk, or they're not going to grab. I would grab Falk. I think this is a good spot for him. He has everything he needs to be great. He's got the size, he's got the length. He just needs some experience. He's like 6'6", some shit like that. How big is he? 6'6", 285. I mean, he's got everything you need to be great. Like, he's got all the measurables. He was inconsistent in college, which tells me he can be productive at a high level in the SEC. But I do think Kendrick Falk, with a year or two under his belt, can be very good. He can either be very good or he'll disappear. I don't think there's much I don't think he's going to be like an average player. I think Falk's either going to be very, very good, or he's going to be like a backup. That's what I think he's going to be. All right, 49ers, tackle, receiver, guard, edge, safety. Okay. I'm just going to grab Lemieux. Lemieux should not be dropping this low. I think the tackles, some of the tackles, like the Lemieux and the other guy, I'm trying to think of his name now. But no, those guys they're kind of undersized a little bit as far as their build is. So they've got some growing to do and they've got some development to do. But I think San Fran's a good place to do that. I don't know how much he fits there, but I think he's athletic enough to play in the to like zone block and things like that. So I think Lemieux there would be nice. Wouldn't be a bad fit at all. All right. Houston Texans, guard, defensive tackle, center, linebacker. We're going to go C.J. Allen if they need a linebacker. Just keep building that defense. Kansas City Chiefs. Another pick here. Edge. Who do we get first for them? We got them a corner. I'm going to grab T.J. Parker for them. I think that's a nice fit. T.J. Parker would be a good fit in that defense. And I think Kansas City's having a really nice draft. Gerard McCoy and an edge, yes. Yes, that's what they need. With a quarterback as good as they have, as long as they've got an above-average defense, they can go really far. They can go very far. All right, the Miami Dolphins back again, baby. All right, so we grabbed the receiver for them. Guard, tackle, edge. They need an edge here. I don't like his size at all. I won't even draft him right now. He was awesome in the fucking combine. I don't know how good he is as a 9 sacks, 13 for loss. Yeah, I would grab him. I think this guy would be a great fit for the Dolphins. Or Mason Thomas would be a great fit for the Dolphins. They've got kind of an undersized guy on the other side in Chop Robinson. And watching him in the combine, he looked very explosive. He looked like an NFL player. Like he was like a little bit of another level athletically. And almost everything that he did. I really liked him a lot. I know he's only 6'2", 250. But so is, Chop Robinson's about 6'4", 250. There's not a big difference. But I do think Mason Thomas, you can put him standing up. He's athletic enough. You can do just about anything with him. I do think he's more of a pass rusher. Like a pure pass rusher than like a Chop Robinson is. But Chop Robinson has developed fairly nicely, and I think Thomas can be a really nice, at least rotational player at first, if not a starter. So I think that Thomas has the ability to be really good. He's going to be a little bit of a project, though. That's the only problem with Thomas. And the reason why it's a good fit for the Dolphins is the owner knows this is a long-term thing. They're not going to turn around in 1 year. Now, can they possibly do it if everybody reaches their full potential? Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. Especially with Willis, and if Carnell Tate fucking work out, and the Achane is there, and they start cranking and everything like that. The Dolphins defense is scrappy. It's not talented, but man, it's scrappy. They make you earn everything. When a player like Thomas and you kind of put some other players around them, I think that can be a really, really nice defense. There's also a guy named Chris Johnson. Why is he so fucking low? Chris Johnson, who I think is like one of the few plug and play players in this draft. I think you can grab him maybe in the second round, and you'll be doing really well. That's a gem. That's a gem. Chris Johnson. Anyway, New England Patriots, wide receiver, edge, linebacker, tight end, safety. I'm going to be blunt. I'm grabbing Proctor, and I'll tell you why. I think Campbell needs to go inside. I think he struggles with good pass protectors or good pass rushers, and I think he can go inside and play like left guard or something. And Caden Proctor is a proper sized left tackle. He's 6'7", 366. He's fucking huge. You put him next to Will Campbell, that's a nice fucking combo. I think that's a nice combo, and Will Campbell doesn't have all those struggles. Maybe Will Campbell eventually becomes a right tackle, but that motherfucker is not a left tackle. Sorry, he's just not. That guy is a guard. I sit him down, I feed him an extra steak a day, put 15 pounds on Will Campbell, stick him inside as a guard. You throw Caden Proctor next to him, it's a fucking beautiful fucking left side. It's a beautiful left side of the offensive line. You've got two really, really good premier guys there. I think Proctor's going to be good in the NFL. He's just with his size, he could be a little slow, who knows, but you can do blocking schemes and things like that with Will Campbell and stuff, but I do think they need to get in their offensive lineman to replace that position. I think Will Campbell is going to like thrive at left guard. I honestly, watching him, I try him at center. I train him at center. I think Will Campbell can be almost a perfect center. That's if I'm an offensive line coach, that's the position I see him playing. Because I think he's smart, he's aggressive, he wants to be great. Like his mentality, he's a center in his brain. His body is more of put more as a left tackle, but I think he's an inside guy. I think he's a left guard or a center. That's what I think he is. But anyway, Seattle Seahawks. Edge, running back, guard, center, corner. Let's grab Colton Hood. I think Colton Hood's really good. Good, solid player. I mean, you're picking last in the first round, and you need a corner. You're gonna have to get a guy that's kind of more of a. He could be more than a role player. I don't know. I think Colton Hood can be very, very good. Like, I think if McCoy wasn't there, I think Hood might be rated higher. See, because he's a bigger corner, if I remember right. He's 6'1", 195. To me, that's considered a above average size corner. So, yeah, Colton Hood, I think would be a nice fit there. So, yeah, Mendoza, Bailey, Bain, Reese. I think this is nice draft. The only thing I would switch is I would go get Downs instead of Sonny Styles for the Giants. That's the only thing now that I'm thinking about it, I would switch. I would get Caleb Downs over Sonny, because Caleb Downs is the significantly better player right now. It's not even close. It's not even close. But the reason why I like Sonny Styles there is because he can develop in that defense, and his ceiling is so fucking high. And they're building something nice. He can come in and learn there. But if I had to do this draft over again, I would put Caleb Downs on the Giants. I don't know where Styles would go as far as the rest of the draft would fall, but that's if I had to change things. Downs would go to the Giants. But I think the only reason why I didn't pick Downs there is I think it's too high to draft him there, which is kind of a stupid thing. How many times have we looked back at a draft like, oh wow, the 20th player was the best player of that draft? Oh, that's probably why he didn't get drafted. They probably thought he wasn't worth drafting that high. You know what I mean? So as far as football players go, Caleb Downs should be a top 5 pick. Should be a top 5 pick in the draft, if not like a top 2. Caleb Downs is like, he might be the best defensive player in the draft. Like, he's that good. Caleb Downs is nasty. Like, he's good. He just plays a position that's not overly coveted. Which, to me, I covet the shit out of linebackers and corners and safeties, but that's just me. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed my version of the mock draft on what I would do. And I'll see you guys on the next one.